Greetings, my beautiful family. Ilona here from ILONA TV. Alexander Grade said this: "I'm not afraid of the army of lions led by the sheep, but I'm afraid of the army of sheep led by the lion." Today we're going to be talking about the essence of leadership, and we have a perfect guest today, Mr. Dave Kaiser. He's a CCX media producer. Greetings, Mr. Dave. How are you today?
I'm very good. Thanks for having me on.
You've been a great part of the leadership in our community. You have this special gift to collaborate with the community leaders in a next level and in a higher level as well. What do you think is the essence of being a good leader, with your opinion?
I think the most important part is to build a good team around you. I think people often think leadership is one person on their own, and it's all you do it or you don't do it, and I don't think that's the case. I think to be a good leader you have to have a solid team, and I think that's what we've been able to do here through CCX Media over the years. And I do a lot of work with other organizations and foundations as well, and the key there is it's got to be a good team. And then you play your part as a leader, and you fill in where you can and give ideas, but always think in mind of the team being the biggest goal.
Yes, leadership is pretty much everything rises and falls on the leadership. Anywhere you go, even in a household as well. The father, if he's not leading his family where it needs to go, it will not get there. And especially corporations. So let me know that, what do you think about, do we become leaders or we are born as one?
I think there's a little bit of both. It's funny you asked that, because I remember back when I was in junior high school in Omaha, Nebraska, a teacher, or a science teacher, said in my yearbook and came up to me personally and said, "Dave, I think you have leadership skills. You ought to find a way to use them." And I always remembered that okay, that was pretty interesting that a middle school or junior high teacher would say that to you. So I think there's a little bit of both. I think you have some of that in you and your personality, but I think so much more of it is something that you learn. And that's what I would say to any leaders if you're going into that type of position is, don't try to figure it out on your own, but talk to other leaders. Take some training, understand some of the keys that you need to have as a leader yourself, but then also keys of working with the team and helping others step forward and become leaders themselves.
And what is the best advice that you have been received to get you better?
Best advice that I've received? Well, I would say it's probably from some people that we worked with through a nonprofit, and their advice was, make sure your heart is in everything that you do. And I think that's really true, because if you go with your mind and you're just looking at the task, you'll do a good job and you'll be an all right leader. But if your heart's in it and you believe in what you're doing and people can see that in you, then I think that's a big difference. So I think that was great advice. Make sure your heart's in what you do.
In what stage of your life you figured out that this is what I want to do, I want to lead? And when did you find out that this is what something will make you happy to do so?
Well, really, when I stepped into a role here back in the late 1980s at CCX Media and in this area, my thought really wasn't to be a leader. It was to be a production person, to be behind the scenes or do technical work or do some on-air work at that point. But I think as the department was developed, that we needed someone to step forward and start to take charge and start to maybe throw out some ideas and try some things. And so I guess I was that person that at that point stepped forward and said, let's try this. Here are some ideas. And I think that's really the start of a leader, is you have to speak up.
Yes.
And you have to share ideas. And then I think others will come alongside you and say, he's got an idea, he's got a plan, let's see if we can be a part of that as well.
And what part of the confidence plays role in the leadership?
A lot. I think you have to be a confident person, and you have to be able to turn the cheek and understand that there's a lot of failure that happens in being a leader, and you learn from each part of that failure. You can't get dragged down and come into work every day thinking it's going to be another failure today, or boy, I really failed yesterday, so I don't know if I want to go at it today. Each day's a new day. You're going to fail at times, but keep a positive attitude and be confident. You're right.
That is absolutely great. And Mr. Dave, we have always special viewers that view about and they want to get a nugget of the wisdom of the people who I interview. What would you tell right now to the person who is struggling and doubting about their leadership position? Should I go or not? Should I do or not? Should I develop myself or not? What would you tell them right now?
I would say don't try to figure it out on your own. I think that's the worst thing that a leader can do, is be in a silo and think it's all upon them to come up with all the answers. I think you need to, as a leader, look to those you trust, look to others in leadership positions, ask them questions, get advice, bounce things off of them. Don't be in a silo.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dave, for today's opportunity for us to interview you, to be with you, and to get the wisdom about the leadership. Thank you so much, guys, for being with us. Stay with us for the next segment with Mr. Dave. Until then, be blessed and be happy. That was Ilona from Ilona TV. See you next time.